Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. Let us begin. Amazonia is at war. Some certain actions are only peculiar within wars, and Amazonia is not an exemption to such acts, says the peaceful protest by the people of southern Cameroon's Amazonia was transformed into an armed resistance by the actions and declaration of the dictator of La Republique du Cameroon, Paul Biya. The Amazonian Restoration Forces have engaged in a lot of actions and interactions to stop the incursion of the colonial La Republique du Cameroon military, advancement and exploitation of the land and people of Amazonia. Although the Amazonian Restoration Forces are the only ground fighters of the Amazonian interim government, many other groups are in existence on the ground with ulterior motives. Some of these groups are partnering with the enemy La Republique du Cameroon to tarnish the image of the Amazonian Restoration Forces. But in all this, the Amazonian Restoration Forces, under the leadership of Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, is still driving forward and upturning their plots. The interim government updates town hall with President Samuel Ikome Sako set to start at 8 p.m. Amba time with the focus on the preparation for the upcoming draft has begun, do not forget. And on the bright side, Southern Cameroons now has a +1 platform where they can tell their own stories by themselves. You wonder what this is? We'll find out in the full briefings of Undaunted tonight, after the prime headlines.
Well, these are the prime headlines for today. Bangui Colonial DO manifests over zealousness. How did he do this? Shops sealed in Bangui for not opening on Mondays. Open war between Bulu Beti clan, while La Republic du Cameroon seems to be at war with itself. Trucks set ablaze to stop exploitation of resources in Amazonia. Gunmen make their impact felt on the Tico Douala Road. Amazonian's new website. Well, in that website, the vision and the history of Southern Cameroons will be there as well. There are other focus on that same platform. I'm sure you want to know what this platform is all about. And on the African scene, Zimbabwe's first oil gas well signals new era for foreign investment. De-dollarization. Asian countries discuss the de-dollarization measures in meeting hosted by Iran. And in sports, well, we'll be telling you how ex-Barcelona and Spain midfielder, how he wants to leave Vissel Kobe. All right, now let's get the news in detail.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real warhorse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian stroke African movies, global politics, ABC Amba News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, fronting IG and people of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASCE. Health is wealth, health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation prayer and intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Amba. Our freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Amba and Pastor Commando. Church and politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amba Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambatv.com/subscribe.
Well, it is a civic duty of the people of Southern Cameroon's Amazonia to observe the Monday lockdown. This is a civil disobedience move that has paralyzed the colonial activities of La Republic de Cameroon in Amazonia. This is also an acceptable move by all Amazonian population piloted by the interim government under Dr. Samuel Ikomesako. The people of Mbengui, like any other Ambazonians, have been faithful in respecting the call for the Monday lockdowns. The newly transferred colonial divisional officer to Mbengui is proven to be overzealous. He has embarked on the sealing of shops, with the reason that the shop owners are respecting the Monday lockdowns by not opening their shops. If in the chief town, which is Bamender, where his superior is, shop owners do not operate, what makes him think he will succeed in a local government area? Well, while you're trying to figure out that answer, this is where we will begin the full briefings of Undaunted tonight. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, Omye. Some shops have been sealed in Mbengui local government area, precisely at Mbon, Mile 18 and Mile 19 by the new Colonial DO of Mbengui. Sworn in last, the new Colonial DO of Mbengui, Undaunted, got the name as Ndida. Many are still anxious to see how his administration will be, hoping it's better than that of his predecessor. Yet his first move has been to seal shops. In a meeting after the sealing of the shops, this still is to be tamed. Colonial DO told the shopkeepers that he will continue to seal so long as the shops are not open on Mondays. The Colonia and Dida went around together with his assistant and the in-house slave mayor to the Mbengui sealing shops.
This is the same move his predecessor, Sakwi, carried out during his term of office to kill Monday Ghost Town to make it unsuccessful. The difference now is what is written on the seal. At the time of sacre, the seal carried DO, but this time around it carries MC Mbengui Cancel. After the meeting, on the declaration of the colonial deal, some shop owners started emptying their shops as they have resolved never to violate the call for Monday lockdowns.
Now, reports had it that there has been an open war in Sangmalima dictator Bia's clan. A native of Fumban has killed a Bulu from Sangmalima in neighboring La Republic to Cameroon. As seen in the video, all Bulus are on rampage out of the streets with clubs and light arms, revenging by attacking all non-natives, those who are not Bulus, breaking their shops, looting, maiming, and killing. In a video, in a voiceover, language French, a warning is sounded to non-natives to stay indoors or escape safely. Now we wonder where is this leading to? A xenophobic between the Bulubeti clan and the Bami clan? We wonder.
Well, it's worrisome as President Biya is of the Bulu Beti clan. On the other hand, Maru's Kamchot is of the Bami clan as well. Well, according to confirmed reports, this rivalry between the two fronts has been on for a while. But interestingly to note is that the fact that they are musically, culturally, economically, we can say that they are brothers, but they all wrestle for power. The cause of the grievances could be power, or yeah, we can say it could be power related. It's also possible the Bami grievances are centered on the rigged presidential election they claimed Kamto won.
Now, meanwhile, Maurice Kamto is a lawyer and professor of law with the University of Yaoundé in Cameroon. He is the leader of Cameroon Renaissance Movement, which is known by its French acronym, the MRC. He was once arrested on the 28th of January 2019. The circumstances behind his arrest is linked to an organized peaceful demonstration on the 26th of January the same year, and the purpose of the demonstration was to protest against the ongoing civil war in southern Cameroon with a lot of deaths.
Alright, Amazonia is at war. Some certain actions are only peculiar within wars, and Amazonia is not an exception to such acts. Since the peaceful protest by the people of southern Cameroon's Amazonia was transformed into an armed resistance by the actions and declarations of the dictator of La Republic du Cameroon, Paul Biya, the Amazonia Restoration Forces have engaged in a lot of actions and interactions to stop the incursion of the colonial La Republic du Cameroon military advancement and exploitation of the land and people of Amazonia. Although the Amazonia Restoration Forces, the ARFs, are the only fighters of the Amazonian interim government. Many other groups are in existence on the ground with ulterior motives.
Now, some of these groups are partnering with the enemy La Republic du Cameroon to tarnish the image of the Amazonian Restoration Forces. Several trucks carrying goods and containers on the Tico Douala highway were put on fire by gunmen. Undaunted addresses those who acted as gunmen because no group has accepted responsibility, and the intelligence service of the Amazonian interim government is still to make a statement. What motivated this action?
While several trucks carrying goods and containers on the Tico Douala highway were put on fire by gunmen on the 24th of May 2023. The reason is believed to have been motivated. The attack is stopping the exploitation of their resources elsewhere. Many of the trucks and other private vehicles accompanying the trucks were stopped, and all drivers were asked to move out of the vehicles at the Tico Douala Road. The cars were set on fire, according to an eyewitness account.
The incident was recorded and the video made rounds on social media. Though the video failed to contain the perpetrators of the actions, the trucks are seen being consumed by fire. According to the video that has gone viral on social media, one of the drivers could be heard lamenting about the vehicle set on fire. A great loss has been recorded from the burning, given that the trucks were carrying containers made of goods.
While what Undaunted cannot ascertain for now is the direction of the trucks and vehicles. If the trucks and private vehicles were moving into the Atlantic zone or out, while Undaunted will be updating with new developments.
The World Wide Web, commonly referred to as WW and usually with a dot after, is a system of interconnected public web pages accessible through the internet. Now, Southern Cameroonians has one more platform, a plus one, where they can tell their own stories by themselves. The interim government is fronting this position, and like the president rightfully said about this platform, the vision, the mission, the story, the history of Southern Cameroons will be the main focus of this platform.
Well, it is a diplomatic instrument, and therefore we encourage the public that after all is said and done, after all the many different voices, the different rhetorics, misinformation, and disinformation, Amazonians, firstly, then the world at large to fall back to the statehouseboyer.org website to first of all get the interim government's position and to feel the emotions of Amazonians. President Sako has always been with and for the people in his policy. So there is no doubt that this platform can be prided as a major juncture where Amazonians will gather not just to get information, but also to share opinions.
Now, if you go through the website, there is something unique about the website, the presidential blog. That is to be having daily tweets on a regular basis, talking to the world and Amazonia. Now, this is history making and the first of its kind of all the hijacked websites. Now that Amazonia has a state house website, a website that can easily be likened to the White House website, while there is the US government website and the White House website. Southern Cameroon's Amazonia has the Amazonian government website and the State House Boya website. Don't you think that is impressive?
Well, it's also important to note that via this website, that is like a window, an epic center of all the different government websites. Through this website, you can click to get to the A website and make a donation. That's not all. Through this website, you can click to get to the ABC Amber TV website as well. Through this same website, you can click and get to the Amazonian genocide website and the government website as well. Well, we really think that this is remarkable and applaudable.
According to information we are getting from the office of the president, the purpose of this website and platform is for diplomatic outreach programs for the interim government to have a platform where the US government and other governments can learn about Southern Cameroon's its history, its mission, its projections and purpose. The interim government is hoping that this platform will facilitate partnership with external as well as internal stakeholders in Southern Cameroon's quest for total freedom.
North African state. All right. Like we did tell you in our discussions tonight and even previous discussions, the interim government always distances herself from any information or any action that is not right. Well, the interim government distances herself from all treasonable acts of ADF and other sister forces aiding or abating the colonial government's genocidal onslaught in Ambazonia. Well, we have the interim government spokesperson here with some words of advice.
Dear ARFs, dear Ambazonians, and the international community, the interim government does not support kidnapping. Alert, alert, alert. This is Dr. Martin Mungwa, Secretary of State for Communication and IT for the interim government. Today, Wednesday, the 24th of May, 2023, I come to you to state the government's position on a number of issues. Dear ARFs, dear Ambazonians, and the international community, the interim government does not support kidnapping of women, children for ransom. I repeat, the interim government does not support kidnapping of women, children, or anybody for ransom. The interim government condemns and disassociates itself with tax collection currently being undertaken by the ADF under Cho Ayaba and Capo Daniel. The interim government would like to inform the international community, as well as Ambazonians, that this act of tax collection, killing, and kidnapping is actually being performed by the ADF under the direct supervision of La République du Cameroon colonial government. The interim government would like to make a differentiation between the ARFs, who are the legitimate defenders of the rights of Ambazonians, and the separatists under Cho Ayaba and the coup plotters. We want to make it very clear that the ARFs are not separatists. The separatists are those criminals being sponsored and supported by the colonial government of La République du Cameroon in the guise of ADF under Cho Ayaba and Capo Daniel. Nobody should pay any taxes to the ADF. Again, I repeat, the interim government does not support anybody paying taxes to the ADF. Once again, I would like to thank the ARFs and the Amazonians for heeding to the IG call. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Well, there you have it from the Secretary of State for Communications and IT, Dr. Martin Mungwa, FASCE. A special announcement to the Zoom town hall with the President Tamale Komi Sako to begin at 8 p.m. Amba time has probably already commenced, and the topic and focus for this Zoom meeting is the interim government update town hall preparation for the upcoming redemption draft. To ensure to be present at the Zoom meeting. Now, in Africa, a summary of the newly founded Zimbabwe oil well has it that Australian listed Invictus Energy in the early days of this month confirmed the presence of light oil, gas condensate, and helium at its Kabora Bassa project in Zimbabwe, sending its shares up 8.7%. The company said that mod gas analysis from the Mukuyu 1 well drilled last year had proved the presence of hydrocarbons in multiple reservoir pay zones.
Well, Invictus Energy shows that analysis shows the presence of light oil and rich natural gas condensate with condensate gas ratios estimated at between 30 and 135 barrels per million cubic feet. The analysis also confirmed the presence of helium gas in commercial concentrations comparable with global helium producing field. The company added, helium is a key component in the manufacture of semiconductors, liquid crystal display panels, and fiber optic wire.
Now, Victor said it plans to drill a second well, Mukuyu 2, during the third quarter of this year. Success at Mukuyu 2 and confirmation of a significant discovery will further unlock the value of our material portfolio, says Invictus Energy Managing Director Scott Macmillan. These were the discoveries in Zimbabwe in the early days of this month, and more recently, Invictus Energy CEO Scott Macmillan says Zimbabwe's record of a successful drilling for oil and gas, and also helium in northeast Zimbabwe shows that the country is open for business.
Meanwhile, in Nigeria, following the commissioning of Dangote's refinery, there are now speculations that the newly commissioned refinery will charge Nigeria's dollars for refined petroleum products. The 650,000 BPD capacity refinery, owned by Africa's richest man Aliko Dangote, was launched amid claims of easing petrol imports by Africa's biggest economy. A growing number of countries are trying to move away from the US dollar. What is fueling this decision? Top officials from 9 Asian countries have gathered in Tehran where de-dollarization discussion takes center stage. The BRICS country, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have also pushed to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. Will the dollar survive all these alliances?
Good question. Well, top officials from 9 Asian countries, members of the Asian Clearing Union, the ACU, have gathered in Tehran for their annual meeting where the dollarization takes center stage. In addition to the officials from Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, Russia's central bank governor and officials from Belarus and Afghanistan also attended the meeting. The 2 day 51st Annual Asian Clearing Union, the ACU, meeting began on Tuesday in Tehran with participation from officials representing members of the Asian Clearing Union, the ACU, as well as several others. The meeting was hosted by the Central Bank of Iran, and de-dollarization was a key topic discussed at the event. Tasneem News Services reported this.
Well, the ACU currently has 9 members: Bangladesh Bank, Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan, Reserve Bank of India, Central Bank of Iran, Maldives Monetary Authority, Central Bank of Myanmar, Nepal, Rashtra Bank, State Bank of Pakistan, and Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Apart from the top officials of the ACU members, the governor of the Russian Central Bank is attending as an observer along with officials from Belarus and Afghanistan, commenting on the role of the US dollar in the world economy and a growing number of countries shifting away from using the USD in trade settlement. Iran's first vice president, Mohammed Moghbar, said at the meeting, in his words, he says, de-dollarization is not a voluntary choice by countries anymore. It is the country's inevitable response to the weaponization project of the dollar.
Now, Mokbar noted that over the past few decades, the weaponization of the dollar has compelled countries to distance themselves from reliance on the US dollar in order to mitigate the potential impact of possible future sanctions. Addressing the growing trend of countries seeking to diminish the reliance on the US dollar, the Iranian first vice president pointed out that the weakening of the dollar poses a significant challenge to the United States' global influence. Concluding his remark, he emphasized that the Islamic Republic is ready to enhance its banking and trade relations with other nations, particularly ACU member states.
Well, Iran has been ramping up its de-dollarization efforts, such as phasing out the US dollar in bilateral trade agreements with Russia. Earlier this month, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi called on the Central Bank of Iran to ditch the US dollar in trade and use national currencies instead. President Raisi also said Iran is seeking to join the BRICS economic bloc to counter Western hegemony and promote a multipolar world.
Well, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have also pushed to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. The economic group is discussing creating a common currency that is set to be discussed at its upcoming Leaders Summit. 10 Southeast Asian countries, a world of the members of the Associate of Southeast Asian Nations, the ASEAN, also recently agreed to encourage the use of national currencies instead of the US dollar.
And in sports, Andres Iniesta, who won the World Cup with Spain in 2010 and 4 Champions League titles and 9 La Liga championship with Barcelona, has a lot on his table this time around.
Well, Matthew Chakut scored a last gasp winning in and sent the Florida Panthers to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 1996. Kachuk's goal, with just 4.9 seconds remaining, gave the Panthers a 4-3 win over the Carolina Hurricanes and sealed a 4-2 clean sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals. We have Gab Ellison tell us more.
Latest world sports. Football. Andre Iniesta, ex-Barcelona and Spain midfielder to leave Vissel Kobe. Andre Iniesta, who won the World Cup with Spain in 2010 and 4 Champions League titles and 9 La Liga championships with Barcelona, is leaving Japanese club Vissel Kobe. Iniesta announces Vissel's departure, great joy and pride in the decision to come to Kobe. Declared to continue active duty, the Noesta Sapporo game on July 1st conference will be his last game. Iniesta fought back tears as he announced on Thursday at a press conference that he would be leaving the club midway through the current J-League season in July and indicated that he planned to continue playing, although not saying where. Asked where he might play, he replied, "I have to tell you the truth, I don't know. I want to keep playing football. I feel like I am capable of still playing," he added, speaking in Spanish. "But as this chapter closes, we'll see what's possible. I want to finish my career on the pitch playing, and this is what I'm hoping to do." Recent reports have linked him with a stint in the Middle East, but with no details about clubs. "It's a very emotional day after so many years," he said. "I try to give my best on and off the pitch. I am very proud of that." The former Barcelona midfielder, who turned 39 earlier this month, joined Kobe in 2018 after a glittering career at the Catalan club where he won 30 trophies. Iniesta joined the Japanese club on a 3-year deal and prolonged his stay with a 2-year extension. News reports indicate his reason for leaving is because he wants more playing time. Iniesta just turned 39 and made the announcement at the club news conference in the western city of Kobe. It was Iniesta who scored the winning goal in extra time in the 116th minute of the 2010 World Cup in a 1-0 victory over the Netherlands for Spain's only World Cup title. The veteran midfielder described going to Japan as one of the best decisions of his life. He repeatedly said thank you to the club, the fans, and to his fellow players. "I was made to feel welcome here for the first day," he said. The J-League club confirmed the news Iniesta would be departing shortly after. "We regret to announce the departure of Andre Esther from our club," Kobe said in a statement. "For 5 years since joining, we express our heartfelt gratitude to Iniesta, who has made significant contributions to Vissel Kobe." Iniesta will leave Kobe after their home match against Kansadoli Sapporo at Nover Stadium on July 1st. The club are 3 points clear after 14 games. He has made 113 appearances for Kobe so far, winning the 2019 Emperor's Cup and the Japanese Super Cup in 2020. Arne Slot rules himself out of running for Tottenham head coach. Arne Slot says he wants to stay as Feyenoord manager, ruling himself out of contention for the Tottenham job. Dutchman Slot had been heavily linked with a move to Spurs after Antonio Conte's sacking in March. Slot, 44, led Feyenoord to the 2022-2023 Eredivisie title, and talks took place on Wednesday about a potential new deal at a Rotterdam-based club. "I have been hearing a lot of rumors going around about other interests in me," said Slot. "Although I am thankful, my wish is to stay at Feyenoord and continue working on what we created last year. There is not and there has not been transfer conversations, and yesterday's meeting was exclusively for an extension. All talks with the club always been only in that sense. Looking forward to next season with Feyenoord." After Conte's sacking, Christian Stellini was appointed Spurs interim manager but was dismissed after 4 games in charge. Ryan Mason took over as interim boss for a second spell, having previously held the role briefly at the end of 2020-2021 season. Spurs have since taken just 4 points from 6 matches and play relegation-threatened Leeds in the final game of the campaign on Sunday. Former Bayern Munich boss Julian Nagelsmann was previously linked with a move to Tottenham, but they did not hold talks with the German. They did approach Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi, according to journalist Gulen Balagu, and were linked with Burnley manager Vincent Kompany before he signed a new deal with the championship winners. Earlier in the season, Slot ruled himself out of becoming Leeds United manager after JC Marsh's sacking. He became Feyenoord head coach in December 2020 after leaving AZ Alkmaar, where he started his managerial career. A former midfielder, Slot spent his entire playing career in the Netherlands, making more than 100 appearances for both FC Zwolle and NAC Breda. Ice hockey. Florida Panthers reached Stanley Cup Finals with clean sweep over Carolina Hurricanes. Matthew Tkachuk scored the last gaps winner to send the Florida Panthers to a Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 1996. Tkachuk's goal, with 4.9 seconds remaining, gave the Panthers a 4-3 win over the Carolina Hurricanes and sealed a 4-0 clean sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals. They will face either the Vegas Golden Knights or Dallas Stars in the finals. Vegas currently lead their best-of-7 series 3-0. Tkachuk's goal, his second of the game, equaled the NHL record for the latest series winning goal in regulation time, matching Nick Metz's winning when the Toronto Maple Leafs secured a Stanley Cup Finals berth in 1942. It was the 25-year-old American's 9th goal of the playoffs and his 3rd win goal against the Hurricanes. "We are lucky to have Chucky on our side," said Panthers goalkeeper Sergei Bobrovsky. "He's been great for us all season long and the whole playoffs. He knows how to score big goals." Anthony Duclair and Ryan Lomberg also scored for the Panthers, while the Hurricanes game came through Paul Stastny, Tuva Teravainen, and Jasper Fast. Florida's last trip to the finals 27 years ago saw them beaten 4-0 by the Colorado Avalanche. "We know this opportunity doesn't come all the time, and the guys are so motivated to make this count," Tkachuk said. "That's so exciting. Vegas will hope to wrap up their series win over Dallas in Game 4 on Thursday. The start of the finals will be confirmed after the Vegas series is decided." Gab Ellison reporting for Undaunted, ABC Amba News.
Dear Ambazonians, my fellow comrades, you're all welcome to this gathering focused on a rather adverse historical event that affected our collective destiny as a nation. On this day, 51 years ago, that is on May 20th, 1972, our fate as a subjugated people was apparently sealed by the genocidal annexationist regime of the Republic du Cameroon led by Amadou Ahidjo, with a fake referendum aimed at unifying our two countries. After the failed decolonization process that led to the annexation and recolonization of our territory, La République du Cameroon, ill-counseled by their French masters, thought the smarter move to organize a sham referendum and yoke us to their independent state. They believed that would seal the deal, and the so-called imposed federation, which reminded us and the world that we were two states of equal status that tried to come together, that we will be buried and will be forgotten for good. This Machiavellian agenda was well planned with the help of the French. Or else, how could one explain the reason for La République du Cameroon voting no to our independence during the United Nations General Assembly vote, only to come later and annex our territory? They buried us and expected us to die. Unfortunately for them, we germinated like seeds, and today a tall Iroko tree stands in their way. We are the never again generation. Our resistance throughout these 62 years of annexation and recolonization and the escalation from the force of argument doctrine to the argument of force during these past 7 years of self-defense is a non-reversible reality. The enemy, La République du Cameroon, can no longer celebrate with ease its proxy National Day in our territory. To make it worse, the Republic of Cameroon is the only African country in the world, that is ashamed of commemorating its Independence Day on the 1st of October to the 1st of January. Tonight, we are not here to celebrate because this day has no positive significance in our history. We are here to commemorate the more than 50,000 lives that have been lost and be killed by the barbaric regime of the Republic of Cameroon. We are here tonight to reflect on why we cannot stop this liberation marathon halfway, why we must continue our ARF by drafting. We are here to give honor to our valiant Ambazonia restoration forces who have fallen while putting their lives on the front line because of our collective quest for true freedom. No sacrifice is mightier than those heroes and heroines as far as this liberation struggle is concerned. Tonight, we reflect on the massacres that Dictator Paul Biya's genocidal thugs have perpetrated in Ambazonia. We remember those in Gabu, Kwaka, Kumba, Santa, Bali, Mankon, Mafut, Mesen, Mitop, Okonotiti. All those massacres will always remain in our thoughts. We reflect on all the innocent civilians burnt alive in their homes by the Republic du Cameroon, while they carried out their scorched earth policy, raising more than 500 Ambazonia villages and settlements. Tonight, let's also remember the millions of IDPs in our territory and refugees all over the globe, from neighboring La République du Cameroon, Nigeria, and some in other African countries and in Europe, America, Asia, and other far corners of the world. We are not alone, and you are not alone. We are all in this together. We are with you along this journey. Your suffering and endurance are a constant push for us in this interim government to continue to lead the charge till Ambazonia is free. If the enemy, La République du Cameroon, still thinks it will wish Ambazonia away by annihilating us all, then she is still in the dream world of a thought and will soon awaken to the realization that Ambazonia will be free someday, while refusing to heed the mightiest of the world's powers, the United States, which has cautioned that this war cannot be won militarily. The first step in any peace process is genuine dialogue and negotiation. International powers have recommended this. This interim government, under the leadership of Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, has been proactive when it comes to this issue of negotiations. The internationally backed Swiss-led initiative was the platform that could have gotten us talking eyeball to eyeball with the enemy, La République du Cameroon. But true to their nature, they snubbed it and opted to scam its own apologists, those who believe in the One Cameroon doctrine in the infamous Canada charade today. Even a reputable country like Canada has to struggle to clean the image of La République du Cameroon. Those who want to annul or underlook our internationally recognized status as a state of equal status with La République du Cameroon, you have failed once more. This is not 1960 when our forebears were naive and were exploited by the white man don't talk say syndrome. This generation, led by your IG, is more alert and sophisticated than before. We critically analyze issues, educating our people on the hidden connotative meaning of words and their legal implications down the road. The controversy about whether a referendum, which, by the way, nobody has offered, is pushed as a contextual mechanism to ascertain the aspiration of our people. But it is a false alarm meant to distract us. Let's remain focused, my brothers and sisters. The president, through his published press releases, audios, and interviews, has articulated the IG's position against referendum, while educating our people on the logistics and legal trappings underpinned by a referendum, as far as our case is concerned. Fellow patriots, there is work at hand. We have to maintain our firepower, continue to support our air, remain resolute in attaining our goal of a liberated, restored, and recognized Ambazonia. If we focus on this making hell for the enemy in our territory, I guarantee you that in this era of accelerating our liberation struggle, the issue of talking with the enemy across a table will not be a matter of choice, but a must. It is only then that mechanisms on how consent and true peace with dignity will be achieved or be discussed. I want to thank the Department of Education and Strategic Collaboration, headed by Professor Epote and her team, for organizing this special educative and reflective town gathering. As we reflect on this sad day in our history, our territory on the home front was locked down from yesterday, Friday, May 19, 2023, to Monday, May 22nd, 2023, our traditional ghost town days. We are in solidarity with our people on home front and our restoration forces, as they deny the genocidal enemy the liberty to fake the so-called National Day celebrations in our territory, Ambazonia. My brothers and sisters, let me end by stating that this interim government has always respected the right of any supposed Ambazonian group to do their part in trying to free our country and its people. As long as that remains its only goal, we have no argument with that. It will, however, no longer be acceptable to Ambazonians to stand by and watch La République du Cameroon proxy groups kill our restoration forces and impose hardship on our already suffering population with taxation due to their inability to raise funds in the diaspora. These nefarious groups must remember that for this fight to succeed, The diaspora should mobilize funds to support our suffering people as this interim government has been doing, not the other way around. We strongly advise those engaged in this demonic anti-revolutionary practices to see the light and focus the fight against our collective enemy. The days of killing our ARF and walking away are over. I can assure you that this interim government will keep empowering our restoration forces to meet any threat on home front from their own brothers who claim to fight for Ambazonia, who are also trying to kill them, and also from La Republique. The days of killing Chacha and going away are over. The days of killing Isubu and getting away with it is over. That nonsense in Momo will stop. I caution every Ambazonian group to understand that we have no ill will against anyone, but we cannot continue to see our men and women die from the hands of nefarious and terrible people whose only motive is to help La Republique in killing our people. This is serious, and I mean it. Thank you, our Ambazonia Restoration Forces. May the Almighty God sharpen your sword of defiance. Keep up the good fight, because we, these dedicated few, have all chosen to be the burden bearers of our liberation fight. Thank you all for all that you do. Pray for us and pray for yourselves and pray for our Ambazonia Restoration Forces. The days ahead will be difficult for La Republique and its proxies in Ambazonia. God bless the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Thank you.
All right, and with that vice president speech, we employ every one of us to ensure that we all get to the Zoom meeting. We will see you there.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amba News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's Position, The Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC, Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian Community with Dr. Yaya, Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Amba, Our Freedom, Spiritual Awareness and Education for the Ambazonian Community with Pastor Victor Amba and Pastor Commando, Church and Politics, Neutralizing the Myths and Preconceived Religious and Political Philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando, The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amba Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambatv.com/subscribe.
I am Ambassador Henry Fosun, and I want to make a few things right.